I'm 74 years old now, and for most of my life I thought silence meant peace. I thought a quiet marriage meant a good one. I was wrong. If you're watching this and your relationship feels fine, I want you to listen carefully. I'm Peter Whitmore. I'm 74 years old. Some of you might recognize my voice from a story I shared here last year. Back then, I talked about work, about ambition, about how fast time moves when you're not paying attention. But today, I need to talk about something more personal, something I didn't know how to say until it was too late. My wife Eleanor and I were married for 44 years. We married in 1978, back when life still felt wide open and full of time. That's longer than some of you have been alive. We met in college. She had a soft laugh and a way of listening that made you feel like you were the only person in the room. I fell in love with her steadiness, with how she made life feel grounded. We didn't have a dramatic marriage. No affairs, no screaming matches, no doors slammed in anger. We paid our bills. We raised 2 children. We showed up to family gatherings. From the outside, we looked like one of those couples people point to and say they did it right. And for a long time, I believed that. Eleanor never complained. Not really. If something bothered her, she'd shrug it off. If I worked late, she'd say, "It's okay. I know you're tired." If I forgot our anniversary once, she laughed and said it happens. If I turned down another trip she suggested, she'd smile and say, "Maybe next year." I took her at her word. I thought her silence meant contentment. I thought her patience meant everything was fine. I didn't realize it meant she was learning how to live without asking me for more. Over the years, she'd suggest little things, not grand gestures, just ordinary human things. Do you want to take a cooking class together? Why don't we go for evening walks again, like we used to? Let's plan a trip somewhere new. Can we sit and talk tonight without the TV on? I almost always had a reason. Not now. I'm too tired. Work has been stressful. Maybe later. Next year will be better. I wasn't trying to hurt her. I truly believed I had time. And Eleanor never complained. So I kept telling myself everything was fine. Little by little, our life grew quieter. Not in a peaceful way. In a thin, empty way. We stopped having real conversations. We talked about schedules, groceries, doctor appointments, our kids, the weather, but not about dreams, not about fears, not about what we were becoming. She started spending more time gardening, joining book clubs, going on trips with friends. I was proud of her independence. I told myself she was just finding hobbies. I didn't notice she was building a life that didn't require me emotionally. We became polite roommates who happened to be married, and I called that stability. I confused stability with intimacy. There's a dangerous word in long relationships. It's fine. Fine doesn't mean connected. Fine doesn't mean close. Fine just means nothing is obviously broken yet. When Eleanor got sick, everything changed. It wasn't sudden. It crept in quietly. Fatigue, weight loss, a cough that wouldn't go away. Doctor visits that started to sound more serious. We were told it was cancer. Not the kind with dramatic urgency at first. The kind where doctors talk in careful tones and say things like, "We'll see how she responds." For a while, life continued in this strange half-normal way. Treatments, waiting rooms, long drives home in silence. I sat beside her every night. I brought her tea. I held her hand. I told myself I was being a good husband. But even then, I didn't know her. One night, a few weeks before she died, we were sitting in the dim light of her hospital room. The machines hummed quietly. She looked at me with an expression I hadn't seen in years. Not angry, not sad, just honest. She said, "Peter, I never complained because I didn't want to be a burden." I laughed nervously and said, "You were never a burden." She shook her head gently. "I didn't complain because I wanted you to want me, not just tolerate me. I wanted you to choose me, not fit me in." Then she said the sentence that changed everything. I felt invisible in my own marriage. I didn't know how to respond. I wanted to argue, to defend myself, to list all the ways I had provided, protected, stayed faithful, stayed present physically. But I didn't, because she was right. She wasn't accusing me. She wasn't crying. She wasn't bitter. She was just telling me the truth, and she was telling it too late for me to fix it. Some sentences don't sound dramatic. They don't explode. They just settle into your chest and stay there forever. I felt invisible in my own marriage. I think about that line every day. After Eleanor died, I found a small notebook in her nightstand. She had kept it hidden behind old magazines. It wasn't a diary of anger. It wasn't filled with bitterness. It was filled with quiet sadness. She wrote about feeling lonely, even when I was sitting right next to her. About missing the man I used to be when we first met. About how she stopped asking for things because it hurt less to expect nothing. She wrote about how much she loved me. That's the part that still hurts the most. She didn't withdraw because she stopped loving me. She withdrew because loving me without being seen was too painful. And I never noticed. I wasn't cruel. I wasn't abusive. I wasn't unfaithful. I was just comfortable. I thought showing up was enough. I thought paying the bills was enough. I thought staying married was enough. I didn't realize love isn't maintained by the absence of disasters. It's built by presence, by curiosity, by small, unremarkable effort. Our marriage didn't die from a dramatic betrayal. It died from thousands of tiny neglects. Most relationships don't collapse. They fade. Slowly, quietly. Without a clear moment you can point to and say, that's when it ended. If you're in a relationship right now, I want you to ask yourself something. When was the last time you had a real conversation with your partner? Not about errands, not about plans, not about problems. A real conversation about who they are now. When was the last time you did something just because it would make them feel chosen? When was the last time you looked at them and felt grateful they were still there? If you can't remember, you're standing exactly where I stood. You don't need a crisis to wake up. You don't need a diagnosis. You don't need a tragedy. You just need honesty. Eleanor never complained, and I used that silence as permission to stop trying. That was my mistake. You still have time. That's the difference between you and me. Don't wait to learn this lesson the way I did. I live alone now. Our house is quiet in a way I never noticed before. I still set 2 cups on the counter sometimes. Before I remember, there's only one of me left. I think about all the small things she asked for. Evening walks, cooking together, long talks without distractions, trips we postponed, moments we delayed. They would have cost me nothing compared to what they would have meant to her. I wasn't a bad husband. I was an adequate one. And that's a dangerously low standard for someone you love. If there's one thing I hope you take from my story, it's this. Love isn't something you feel once and then maintain automatically. Love is something you choose every day, in small ways, in ordinary moments. Don't assume your partner is fine just because they don't complain. Don't assume you have time. Don't wait for a better season of life to show up fully, because one day you might be sitting where I am now, with a quiet house, a full heart, and a lifetime of not now that never became now. If you love someone, choose them today, not tomorrow, not next year, today.